In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, one God, amen. Lord, hear us when we pray to you thankfully. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. In Christ Jesus our Lord, for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever, amen. Okay. So as you guys remember, we started our new series last time. We're talking about the 5 love languages, or the 5 divine love languages. Do you guys remember what the last one was? Words of affirmation, and by that we meant what? What are words of affirmation? What are the good elements for someone to supportive? Encouraging. Okay. And do you guys remember what we were supposed to do for the past 2 weeks? So we're supposed to try to say something positive or word of affirmation to people we love, and what else? What about with God? What did we decide we were going to do? We decided that at least once a day we're going to sit with God and find something that God is telling us. What are the words of affirmation that God is telling us? And at the same time, we decided that God does not need for us to give words of affirmation to Him, but it's good for us when we talk to God to remind ourselves how great and awesome and loving He is. So that was the first one. Today we're going to talk about the second one, quality time. In order for me to show someone that I love them, I have to dedicate time to them. And let me give the definition first. So in the book, he defined quality time as giving someone your undivided attention. I don't mean sitting on the couch watching TV. When you spend time that way, the TV has your attention. What I mean is sitting on the couch with the TV off, looking at each other, talking, giving each other your undivided attention. So that is applied on each other and as well on God. Quality time, like we said last time, words of affirmation is, I don't mean to be biased towards men or women, but most men, they like to feel encouraged, they like to feel supported. They constantly want their spouse or their parent or someone to feel like you're doing good, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of your achievements. And if you fall, I still believe in you, keep going, I support you, and so on. Quality time, it's said that it's more towards women, but I believe it's both. Each person likes to feel like I'm so important to you that you are dedicating special time to me. What makes quality time quality time? It's not about the quantity. I can't say my wife and I or my husband and I spend an hour every day talking. You could be talking, but you're not having a quality time. It's about the quantity. The first thing is focused attention. These are the elements of a quality time towards each other and towards God. The first thing is focused attention. The second thing is quality activities. The third is learning to talk, and the fourth, which I think is the most important one, is quality conversation. So like I said, focused attention is when you're completely focusing everything in you towards the person that you love. My time, my attention, my everything, turning off everything, and I'm completely focused on what you're saying. The second time is quality activities. So it's actually small. The emphasis in quality activity, it's not about what you're doing, it's about why I'm doing this. They did a survey. They asked in a marriage seminar, they asked, I feel loved by my spouse when? And they found the majority of the people said, I feel loved by my spouse when he or she does something that I like with me. This is more towards men. Men always like to feel their wife watching a game with them, watching an action movie with them, watching whatever he likes to do. going to a game or going out with his friends. This is something important to a man. It's more important than women. Women, for example, women don't like to take their husbands shopping. I mean, it would be nice to, but to be realistic, it doesn't happen. And when it happens, they end up making the woman hate the day she wanted to go shopping. So for a man, it's very important to feel like he has a companionship. It's actually one of the very most important elements of a successful marriage, companionship. Essential elements for quality activity, number one, at least one of you wants to do it. Number two, the other person is willing to do it. And number three, both of you know why you're doing it. I hate to watch an action movie, but I'm going to sit down and watch it with you because that's what you want to do, and this is how I show you that I love you. I hate to do it, but I'm going to do it for you. Okay? Come on. Why is it important to have that quality activity together? Why would I force myself to watch a movie that I don't want to watch, but he does? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to go do something that I don't want to do, but for this person I will do it? Because I love him, but what is... Bond, okay, you said actually two things. Bond is number one, and number two, to make him happy, to make that person happy. I want my spouse to be happy. This is always something that we have. I like girly movies, you know. He hates them. He likes action movies and sci-fi. He hates romantic comedies. He likes action movies and people dying and people blowing up and you know, stuff like that. But ever since we met, we've only watched one girly movies, and almost every movie we watch, it's an action movie. Why would I want to do that? Because I would hate for him to come with me to a girly movie and see him unhappy. I would rather go with him to the action movie and pretend to be happy. So one of it is seeing him happy. Number two, like Mark said, to bond with him, because you know, when I talk with him about that movie that we saw, and you see that part, and like, remember that movie that we saw? And number three, which in the book he talks about is the most important thing, is creating memories together. Our experiences with each other is all a bunch of stories. Our relationship with each other is based on the events that we went through, the activities that we saw. Very simple things. I mean, we've only been married for 5 years, but we look back, remember every Saturday morning how we used to sit together with our families and eat? Very, very simple, but it's a memory that we cherish. Later on we'll say, remember how every Christmas Eve, you know, we used to do this? It's the memories that we build together. Yeah, I force myself into doing it sometimes. He forces himself into doing it sometimes. But together, we create those memories together that kind of shape our marriage and shape our relationship. Number three is learning to talk. And this is where it gets tricky. When you spend quality time, most probably, we're going to be doing what? I'll ask that again. When I'm spending quality time with the person I love, TV off, phones off, laptops off, what are we going to do? Talk. So this is when we need to learn the art of talking, which is a very complicated thing to do sometimes. He says number three is learning to talk to each other. So when two people are talking, you have two cases. Something called sympathetic listening and something called self-revealing. When I come home after a bad day and I tell him a story, this happened to me. What am I doing here? I'm sharing. right? I am revealing myself or revealing something about me to him, right? And what am I expecting from him? I'm expecting sympathetic listening. So when two people are talking, you have someone talking and someone listening. And both of these people have a need in the conversation. Even though I'm just listening, but I have a need of knowing more about you. Did I lose you guys? Okay, I'll do it again. So you have someone talking and someone listening, right? Both of these people have a need. One person needs to talk, and the other person needs to understand what you're going through. I am getting to know who you are from the story that you're telling me. When I tell you, so I went to this place and I experienced this and this is how I felt. From this story, I understood how you're thinking, how you're feeling, and how you're reacting, right? And at the same time, you telling me this story, you will need to see my sympathy in this. You will need to feel like, now that I'm sharing this story with you, I'm not alone anymore. I have someone who's in this story with me. Does that make sense? So there's something called sympathetic listening and self-revealing. That's what he calls it. Now it gets even more trickier, which is the art of listening. They found that an average person cannot wait more than 17 seconds to interrupt. So if you're telling me a story, and I'm guilty of this, absolutely guilty of it. He comes home and he tells me, so today I was working on the robot. I was like, oh, you had a bug. No, man, I didn't have a bug. Just listen. Okay. So I was working on this problem, and the software was like, it crashed. No, it didn't crash. Just wait, listen, let me finish. So I was working on this, and then the problem happened, and this guy came and was like, he dropped. No, he didn't drop. Just let me finish. I always feel like I have to finish the sentence. I want to put my idea in. I want to put my touch of the story in. By the time he finishes the story, he feels like it's very lame. Because nothing big happened. He's just sharing a story with me. The problem, and this happens with men and women talk with each other, is men, when you come and tell them a story, and I think I have it, yes, number 6. When I come and tell you, I hit the car, or I got a ticket, I am telling you a story for the sake of venting. I am not asking for you to lecture. I am not asking for you to solve the problem. I am just venting. I'm just telling you I had a bad day. So he created elements of a quality conversation. Let me go over them with you one by one. Yes, I'm going to get to that in just a second. So the first thing in having a quality conversation, so you said number 1, turning off the TV, the laptops, the phone. That established. So all we're going to do now is talk. Number 1, maintain eye contact. Don't talk to me when you're staring at your phone. Don't talk to me when you're looking, at your child. Don't talk to me when you're thinking about something else and I can see you thinking about something else. No. Eye contact. Pay attention to me. Number 2, show sympathy while you're listening. Again, it's the whole sympathy versus listening thing. If I'm telling you a problem, show me that you're caring about what I'm saying. I'm not just saying it for the sake of talking. No, I'm looking for you to sympathize with me in this. Listen to my feelings and what emotions I'm experiencing here. Like Mark just said, there's a difference between me struggling with something and looking for a solution versus I'm just talking. I'm just venting. Just listen to me. How would you know what I'm experiencing here? Look at my body language. I'm telling you, I had this, and this guy did this, and then I was driving, and then he this, and then I got a ticket. There are 2 reactions, like, oh, it happens. I know sometimes it happens, I understand. Or it could be, well, you should have paid attention. Why didn't you look on your left and your right? You didn't see the cup coming. Why didn't you do this? Of course you're going to get a ticket. How many times did I tell you? This is not what I'm looking for. Look at my body. I'm already stressed. I'm already upset. Look, again, he says you can look from like the way my hands are moving, my face, how is my face acting? Am I crying? Am I laughing? Am I smiling? Am I upset? Am I stressed? These are all things to kind of guide you what I'm looking for here. Do not interrupt. Again, I'm guilty for sure in this. Recent studies showed that an average person listens for only 17 seconds before interrupting. No, I was just telling them that I do that all the time. And then number 6, no lecturing, no solutions. If I'm telling you, I'm here because I'm having this problem, I don't know what to do, blah, 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 I'm looking for a solution. But if I'm telling you, I'm having, or I had a bad day, and this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, just listen to me. Do not lecture me. Do not give me a solution. Maybe I will ask you, what do you think? I will ask you, what would you do? But unless you get that from me, don't lecture. Don't give me a solution. Yes? Yes. I don't agree 100% because many times. No, because sometimes, like from our experience, sometimes he would come and like, okay, well, you should have done this, do this, do this. It's like, just listen. Again, sometimes it's taken as interrupting. But sometimes as you're talking, you find the solution to the problem. It is less frequent.
I think guys are essentially most guys are wired for problem solving. So when they are hearing a problem, they automatically go into a problem solving mode.
That's what I was going to go right next, actually.
However, when we speak, sometimes we speak out of frustration. Not that we cannot find a solution to the problem, but just we might not have a solution just yet. But we just need to get it out, say the problem out loud, so that at least a listening body just sit there and listen and can take everything that we have. One, it makes us feel better, and two, it's kind of like, you're moving your brain of thought around to kind of find a solution. Something I think. I agree with that. At least how it.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. One of the things, actually, when we first got married, he kind of taught me. He always tells me, also used to tell me, match my level. If you see me excited and I'm dreaming and I want to tell you, I want to do this thing, it could be something completely crazy. At the beginning, I used to, like, for example, he's like, I'm going to open this business, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And at the back of my mind, where are you going to get the money from? Where are you going to go? What about your job? What about the bills? What are we going to, like, I'm thinking completely 100% realistic. But in his world, I'm bursting his bubble. Like, just match my level, dream with me, go with me, I offer the solution, I'm being very realistic. Where are you gonna get the money from? Where are you gonna get the hands from? Who are you gonna get this from? You need someone with experience. Remember, like, 90% of businesses fail. How are you gonna, he's not really gonna do anything at this point. He's just brainstorming, he's just talking. You see what I'm saying? So he always tells me, match my level. If you see me, sometimes he'll come, what do you think? In that case, I will give my solution. But otherwise, he just needs to talk. Doesn't happen very often, but he just wants to talk. For women, I will go back to what we said last time. Men are like a box, waffles in a box. Each waffle is wrapped individually. You get the waffle out, you heat it, you eat it, it's done, right? Women are like spaghetti. You put the fork in, and you have them all blended together in the fork. It does not work the same way between both. However, when I'm telling you a story, and women are actually known for drifting off a lot when they talk, when I'm telling you a story, there's so much put into that story. It's not just, I went to do this and this happened and that. No. It's history and future and fears and emotions. There's so much put into that story. So when I'm telling you that story, it's loaded. It's not an any other story. That make sense? So that's why when I'm talking to you, do not give me a solution unless I ask you what would you do. Just listen. Just don't give me a solution. Don't tell me you're wrong. One of the things that I've noticed in men in general, my dad, my brother, my husband, when I'm telling you a story, don't tell me it's your fault. If you see me upset, and if you see me, I know I'm wrong. I already know that. But I'm venting to you to make me feel better. Sometimes, I will tell you to be honest, sometimes, exactly. I'm at a point, I'm in so much trouble. The last thing I hear, shouldn't have done that. See? I told you, if you had listened, this would have... It doesn't... I'm at a point where I do not want to hear that. I already know I put myself in trouble. I remember once, there's something specific I lost. And he always used to tell me, know where it is. I had just had Anna, everything is all over the place, our apartment and all that, and I lost it. The hardest part for me was to tell him that I lost it. It was like a laundry cart or whatever, like something very small. But he always tells me, Mariana, don't put it in your pocket, put it, somewhere where you know it's there so you won't lose it. And I put it in my pocket and I was planning to put it there, but I got so carried away and I lost it. Oh man, I'm calling him that I feel so bad that I lost it. Like I'm telling him I'm so busy and I have so many things to do and I get so distracted and I've been losing things lately and I don't know what to do. Guess what's the first thing he says? Didn't I specifically tell you don't lose it? That's not what I'm talking about now. I know I'm wrong. Just make me feel better. It's okay, I understand, No, I do not want to hear, didn't I specifically? And I found it later. But the point was, I'm already feeling bad. Don't tell me you should have. I've told you so. You should have listened, and so on. And yes, the other way too. The last thing you want to hear when you did something is your wife telling you, told you, should have listened. If you had listened to me, this wouldn't have happened, So this slide is actually a very interesting one. When two people have a conversation, there are two kinds of people. He calls them the Dead Sea and the babbling brooks. He says that in marriage, in general, these two people are always attracted. A Dead Sea is something that does not move. You tell him a story, and you don't get anything out of him. You tell him an event, and you don't get anything out of him. You tell him a secret, and you never get anything out of him. And most of the time, it's men. Not always. Most of the time, men are like that. I tell you, this person did this and this and this and this. Okay. And I'm waiting for an emotion out of you here. Okay? I got it. Okay? I just told you this happened. Amazing listeners. No, but actually they don't do it on purpose. It actually says this is a biological thing. Men are not like women. Like women, you tell her something, she's like, oh no, she didn't, or oh my goodness, how did that happen? For a woman, you get a lot more out of her. But for a man, or in most cases, the Dead Sea is you tell him something, he's like, okay, I got it. What do you want me to do? Men are usually that way. What do you want me to do? خلاص, فهمت. I got it. Okay. Why are you so upset? Why are you so angry? It's okay, just, خلاص, I got it. Okay. It says that, actually, yeah, so inside them, nothing's wrong. Or when you ask them, what's wrong? Nothing, okay. You could tell that something is wrong, and they don't really realize that it's visible. It's not like that person is trying to hide anything. It's just nothing, really, nothing is wrong with me, I'm fine. And there could be something, but they just don't know how to let it out. The other end is the babbling brook, which is, he says in the book, it's a person where anything that goes through their eyes or their ears within 60 seconds will come out of their mouth. Something happens within 60 seconds, it's out. And usually it's women. Something happened, I got a promotion. Guess what, I just got a promotion. Okay, I have to go, bye. Okay. You didn't have to make that call. But most of the time it's women. Anything that goes in eyes or ears, within 60 seconds, it's out your mouth. And that's why he says that both these two together make a perfect match. Because the woman, or the babbling brook, whatever, will talk and will get everything out. So she's satisfied in letting everything out. Anything that went in is out, she's all happy. For a man, he's so happy, I don't have to worry about any talking. I don't have to think about what I'm going to say. All I need to do is nod and smile. That's it. He says that at the beginning of a relationship, it makes a perfect match. Because she's venting, it's perfect. But the problem happens later, like 5-10 years from then, when they both wake up one day, the woman realizes that she's talked so much, and he knows so much about her, but she's not getting anything out of him. What does he like? How did he feel about this? What happened then? I don't know. He's like a closed box that I don't know nothing about. At the same time, he wakes up and he's like, oh my God, all she does is just talk about herself. Anything that happens to her, I know, like enough already. Can I just take a break? So this is when problems happen. It precipitated over time. That's why quality time is crucial in any relationship, whether your spouse, your parents, your friends. You have to give time where both of them learn to be on the other end. I have to learn to listen, zip, and just not interrupt. He has to learn how to talk, how to open up, how to share. It takes time, and it's not always easy, but it's crucial for a relationship, for both people at some point to feel, I know him, and I can understand him without him even saying a word. Because I've already listened to him, I have already heard him, and I know what's inside. Especially at the beginning, communication is crucial. The only way for me to know a person is to learn or to hear how he's thinking or how he's feeling. Otherwise, I will not. And many times at the beginning of a relationship, a girl just gets quiet and just shuts down. What's wrong? Nothing. You don't know what you did wrong? No, I don't. And really, a guy does not know. A guy is all about what you tell me, I will understand. For girls, we're more into reading people. He did this, he said this, he should know what he did wrong. No, really, he doesn't. Really, he does not know what he did wrong. And he used to tell me what I did wrong. I don't know. You don't know? No, I don't know. This is exactly why I'm asking. When you say leave me alone, I leave you alone. Why did you leave me alone? Couldn't you see I'm upset? Because you specifically told me leave me alone. Yeah, it has more reading to do into it. There you go. When she says nothing is wrong, you have to go something is wrong. It's a new language, exactly. So how about our quality time with God? I think we've talked about humans enough. We understand each other. We already know the complications we have. But what about our love language or our quality time with God? We all know that we're short when it comes to this. Today, with our emails, our iPhones, our laptops, our TVs, our everything, we have no time. But God has eternity, literally eternity. He has absolutely nothing else to do but to sit down and listen to me. He's never too busy. I might call my husband, but he's in a meeting. He might call me, but I'm away from my phone. With God, that's never the case. He's never too busy. Any time for him is a quality time. I have to make time to talk to God. He doesn't have to do that. He already has that time for me. He has my complete attention. I always tell Anna, when we pray, I tell her, Anna, God is telling all the angels to stop singing because Anna's going to talk to him. And actually that's true for us too. When I pray to God, all he's doing, of course he's doing a lot of other stuff too, but for me, like Joseph said last time, my God, that's how he deals with me. That's my God. He's only mine. I talk to him and he will listen. And last, and there you go, only talks when you're willing to listen. He will never force himself, like we said last time. He knocks on the door and we might leave him in the rain when it's raining and cold, but we're too lazy to get up and open the door for him. He only talks when I'm willing to listen. So again, just before I go to an example, just to define quality time again, it is to give someone your undivided attention. This is what we need to do with God at this point. Giving God our undivided attention. What I mean is sitting on the couch with the TV off, looking at each other, talking, giving each other your undivided attention. A lot of us have a picture of Christ that just clicks. Like when you pray and you look at this picture, I feel like I'm literally talking with God. For me, it's this picture. When I sit in front of that picture, I feel like I'm just talking with my friend, just talking. So I want to show you a video, and hopefully the internet will work this time. A video of why or what kind of quality time we offer to God. Can you guys see it?
It's your time of the year, Jesus!
Wow, thanks guys. But this is a little weird.
Weird? What do you mean? We do this every year.
Yes, but I haven't seen you all year.
Well, now's your time to shine, Jesus. Yeah, you put the Christ in Christmas. Well, yeah, you're the reason for the season.
Yes, but I don't want to be the reason for just this season. I want to be with...
So basically, in that video, they were supposed to say, "Oh, Christ, you're, the reason for the season, and your Christmas, and all that." And he tells them, "I don't want to just have a relationship with you on Christmas. I want to have a relationship with you every day. But you're always busy, and you don't have time for me." That's basically. And then as soon as he says that, and they tell him, you want every single day, he says yes. And so they walk away. They feel like it's too much. You can't have that relationship every day. So just to apply the elements that we just talked about in reality, in our relationship with God. I think the perfect example of that would be Job. If you look at the book of Job, Job was a very good person, very helpful. Everybody loved him, right? But what was his problem? Do you guys remember? His problem mostly was that he thought he was too good, self-righteous, and my own personal opinion was that he's too busy for God. The Bible says that he was always helping people. He had 10 kids. He was very rich. He had so much, and God loved him so much. But I think personally, again, that's my own personal opinion, one of the reasons that God allowed him to go through this tribulation was to kind of show him, hello, I'm here. Pay attention to me. Talking about undivided attention, Job talks for 10 chapters about God. Why did he do this to me? I wish I had died. I wish I never went through this. Why did you do this to me, God? For 10 chapters. Straight. Are you working? Huh? Yeah, so do you still have that plastic Jesus, the one that won't make us feel guilty, won't give us a hard time? So yeah, that's basically what we're looking for. Whenever Isbal Alayam comes and you see everybody in church and so touched and Christ died for me on the cross, and then as soon as Pentecost comes, you can eat ice cream on Friday, yes! that's a lot of us, that's what our relationship with God is all about, what we can eat and when we can eat, and depending on the time of the season, determines what our relationship with God is. It's not until God says, listen, I'm going to put everything aside, and I want you to pay attention to me. And he doesn't do it out of anything other than love. When I see my child playing with a toy, and I want to spend time with her, and she insists on using it, what am I going to do? I'm going to take that toy away. Makes sense. I want to spend time with my child. Same exact thing that God does to us. If he sees something so distracting and so time-consuming, he will take it away. We'll say, God, why can't you just give me that one thing that I'm asking for? I'm only asking for one thing. It's not that hard for you to give it to me. And the answer could simply be, because if I give it to you, you'll be too busy. I don't want you to be too busy. Because if you take it, you're going to keep playing with it, and you're going to forget about me. Very simple. So going back to undivided attention, Job talks for 10 chapters to God, and God never interrupts him once. He never says, "But listen, let me." No. You want to talk? I'm all ears. I'm giving you my attention. Talk. Let it all out. Second, learning to talk. If you guys can open your Bibles, the book of Job, chapter 33. Your phones are. Anybody has it? You guys have it? Book of Job, chapter 33, verse 12. You guys have it yet? I don't know if you're still looking for it.
Look in this, you are not righteous, I will answer you. For God is greater than man. Why do you contend with him? For he does not give an accounting of any of his words. For God may speak in one way or in another, yet man does not perceive it. Go on. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, while slumbering on their beds, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction, in order to turn man from his deed and conceal pride from man. He keeps back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. Man is also chastened with pain on his bed and with strong pain in many of his bones, so that his life abhors bread and his soul's succulent food. His flesh wastes away from sight, and his bones stick out which once were not seen. Yes, his soul draws near the pit, and his life to the executioners. And there is a messenger for him, a mediator, one among 1,000, to show man his uprightness. Then he is gracious to him and says, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be young like a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray to God, and he will delight in him. He shall see his face with joy, for he restores to man his righteousness. Then he looks at man and says, I have sinned and perverted what was right, and it did not profit me. He will redeem his soul from going down to the pit, and his life shall see the light. Behold God's work, all these things, twice in fact, 3 times with a man, to bring back his soul from the pit, that he may be enlightened with the light of life. Give ear, Job, listen to me. Hold your peace, and I will speak. If you have anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify you. If not, listen to me. Hold your peace, and I will teach you wisdom.
What do you guys think? How is this applied on learning to talk? We said learning to talk. When I talk with someone, I have to make them, like remember last time? I have to create the environment for someone to feel safe to talk back, right? And that's exactly what Job did. As a matter of fact, he spent or actually God, for about 3 chapters afterwards, all he did was talk. So I listened, God listened to Job, he gave him his undivided attention, and then he started answering him back. He's like, okay, who created earth? Who created heaven? Who created the sun? Who organizes this? Who takes care of that? And at that point, Job experienced so much with God. So this was a very successful man, had a lot of kids, had a lot of money, everything hunky-dory for him. Everything was perfect for this guy. And then all of a sudden, he loses everything. This was experience that he had with God, right? It's a personal experience or activity, I will call it, quality activity, if I may call it. This is a quality activity that he had with God. It was a way of him to touch God personally. And as a matter of fact, at the very last chapter, he says, I have heard of you by hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you. He didn't physically see God. God did not appear in front of him. But because they had an experience together, where God dedicated time to listen, and then Job dedicated time to hear what God had to say, they came to the conclusion together, this is how I feel you around me. And for each one of us, we go through the exact same thing. Many times we go through something and all the doors close, except one door. But that one door, when it opens, it makes up for everything else. It gives you the grief that you were looking for. It gives you that personal relationship with God. You literally feel like you've been touched by God. And that's what you needed to hear. So how do I get to have quality time with God? Number one, I have to prepare myself for it. I have to dedicate time every day to God. Like we said last time, we are so motivated, or not motivated, we are so driven by our routine. I wake up Monday morning, go to work, come back, sleep, go to bed. Wake up Tuesday morning, go to work, come back, sleep. Work Wednesday morning, go to work, come back, sleep. Friday night, may go out. Saturday morning, spend time with family. Sunday, go to church, and then I start Monday again. But where's God in this routine? Where does God fit in this routine? I have to create quality time to improve my relationship with God. Just like I have to do it with my spouse, or my parents, or my friends. I have to do the exact same thing for God. I have to create. Turn off my cell phone, turn off my laptop, turn off Facebook, stop checking my email every 2 seconds, and dedicate that time to God. And at the same time, give Him time to talk to me. How can we listen to God on a daily basis? I may talk for hours to God, but then what? One of the sermons I heard once says, our relationship with God is like talking on the phone. Say, hello, God. Oh, God, I had such a bad day today, so this happened and this and that. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. I didn't talk. God didn't talk. God hasn't gotten a chance to answer. The fathers say, after you pray, wait for a minute. Just after you're done, glory be to Father forever, ever, amen, amen. Just sit down for a minute, just 1 minute. And you might actually feel God's voice talking to you. It might be hard to have that 1 minute, because what am I going to do for a minute? Just sit there? Yeah, just sit there. You might feel something. An idea might pop into your head of something that you're praying about. It could be a solution to your problem. Wait, why can't I do that? Oh, wait a minute, that's a very good idea. It could be whatever that you were talking to God about. Let Him talk back to you. Let Him answer your question. Don't tell Him the problem and then turn off the phone and walk away. It's about in that to grasp what just happened, or to I think Abouna can relate to that more than me. But it's about, I just spoke with God. I'm just going to give myself a minute to just grasp that I just spoke with Him. Maybe, like again, if I'm giving Him a problem, maybe when I sit down, an idea would pop into my head, and that would be the solution to the problem. Maybe I just need that minute to just... It's not a subconscious, like for example, the subconscious thing? No, not a voice. Not a voice. But do you think it's a subconscious thing? That's okay, Myrna wants to say something.
I don't know where I read this, but basically I think it was like one of the monks in the monastery was training someone who was telling them, I want you to spend 1 minute, start 30 seconds, because 1 minute is really hard. Give yourself 30 seconds where you absolutely cannot, nothing, don't even talk to God, no, don't think, completely clear your head. And after a while he built it up, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and he was
very hard. It's very hard. Try for 30 seconds to think about absolutely nothing. To think about your problems. Do you think that's what it is? I think it's more like because you can't play with your phone and you cannot look at your laptop. I think it's I think it's because you're in an opportunity where you have to turn off your cell phone. You can't keep checking your mail. You can't keep checking Facebook. So that puts you at a time where you're just quiet time. But in the middle of liturgy, you still think about your problems. No, I'm talking about for 30 seconds, you think about absolutely nothing. It's very challenging. It seems like it, but try it. You know what? Let's try it right now. Let's try it right now. For 30 seconds?
15 seconds won't I've tried it before. I couldn't do it for more than like 30 seconds.
It's very difficult. Many times he would actually sleep thinking about the problem and he dreams of the solution to the problem. And he wakes up with the dream that solved the problem at work. The guy's thinking when he's sleeping. How can he not think when he's awake? No, I want you guys, how about, let's do this. Maybe it would help. Huh?
I think this is one way that we speak. Rather than speak, I heard about God's voice is so
Yes.
you cannot hear it until you really paying attention. I see one way God's talking to us too, of course, through His Word, but I think a lot of it is also our interaction with people. I mean, God was able to deliver a message to St. Anthony through a woman that's Baky, right? So if we pray and we ask Him to talk, He will respond back in so many ways, either through contemplation, meditation, through His Word, and through others.
No, there's a video talking exactly about what you just said. One of the things that help me personally is to have a picture in my head of how I'm talking with God and how God is talking to me. So, for example, I'll just close my eyes and just picture myself in the middle of absolutely nowhere. You know that picture of Christ sitting on a mountain? You know what I'm talking about? And the whole world in front of him and he's sitting by himself. I would actually picture myself there, sitting right next to him. I'm just talking to him. And kind of take that minute to not imagine, but just what would he say to me? If knowing my relationship with God, what would he say to me at that point? If I tell him, God, I'm having this problem at work and I can't take it anymore and I don't know why you did this, just talk, vent. Maybe at the beginning it would be, what am I doing? Like, I'm talking to myself. But later on, like Myrna said, you will actually feel God talking to you. I don't know what he would say. I personally, like again, my God, I talk to him. And then after that, it helps to just sit down and just perceive that I'm in the presence of God. Just him being with me at this moment. That I'm not with my friends, I'm not with my spouse, I'm not with my kid, I'm not with my family. I'm with God, and only God. I want you guys to try it right now, just for 1 minute. Bear with me, Ash. Bear with me. I will give you exactly 60 seconds. Close your eyes and picture yourself in the middle of nowhere. There's no internet connection. There's no cell phone. There's no Facebook. You're just talking with him for 60 seconds and just perceive that you're just sitting next to him. No, maybe even if no one is talking, you're just sitting with him and there's absolutely no talking. It's just the two of you. So I will set right now. Okay, that was only 1 minute. Didn't it go by very fast? That was a minute. That was only 1 minute. Focus. See, it took only 1 minute. But you went with God to the middle of nowhere and there was only the two of you. I mean, it might start with 1 minute, but the more you get into it, it's like, oh wow, it's been 15 minutes. Some saints do this. I think there was a story in the Ramon, I don't remember where. There was a monk who said he's going to go for some meditation time, and he came back 100 years later, or 80 years later, and he didn't realize that he was gone for 80 years. 80 years. Of course, that's very extreme. But from our minute with God, can we imagine where that takes us? It takes us in the middle of nowhere. We need to do that. That please just do it for God. For the next 2 weeks, 1 minute. If every day, that would be great. But if once a week even, it will make a big difference. It will make a big, big difference. In my relationship with God, where I can talk to him and open up to him and telling him everything. And I know that he's sitting right next to me in the middle of nowhere and he's listening. He has complete attention. He has his undivided attention dedicated just to me. Please, let's try to do that together. Okay? In terms of how we are going to hear God's voice, I cannot answer that question because God will talk to each one of us differently. He might come, like, where'd he go? Joe just said, like, to St. Anthony, he spoke on the tongue of the woman. To someone else, he might speak, through your conscious, like you were just saying. To someone else, he might come through a verse that pops into your, like last time when I think Myrna asked a question about something and I said, there was this verse that kept popping in my phone. My phone is not even, I didn't even turn my phone on, but I would turn on my phone and the verse is right there, okay? Turn off my phone and then put it in my pocket. It's the same exact verse. How it turned on, I don't know. But after like 4 times later, I was like, oh, so that's the answer to what I was asking the whole time. He might do that in mysterious ways. Do you guys have any questions? Anything that you want to bring up? Okay, can we stand up and pray?